Are you thinking about starting web development in 2024? If you search for best job, software development is right at the top. US News ranks software developer as the best job for 2023. On Glassdoor's best jobs page, ranked on salary, satisfaction and opportunities, 8 of the top 10 are in software engineering. So how can you get started? Hi, my name is David, and today we're about to embark on a unique journey into the world of web development, a journey that I started when I was 7, but you can start at any age. So I asked myself recently, how would I learn web development if I started all over? And in short, the way my brain works, I learn by doing, by solving problems. We'll be following a hands-on project-based approach. I'll explain the best resources to do so for each step. So let's get there. Now the first step is to learn Git. Git is the essential tool for tracking your work and collaborating with others. I recommend a website called Learn Git Branching. This provides a colorful, animated, hands-on walkthrough of what Git is and how it works. I've also provided other resources in the description, including a booklet that I wrote on the subject. Once you've completed the training, I suggest playing with Git, editing text files, committing them, changing branches, pushing the changes to GitHub and so on. In any case, I recommend you start tracking all your projects with Git and backing them up to GitHub. The next step is to understand the basics of HTML and CSS. Here I recommend Codecademy's free HTML and CSS course, but you can also try Free Code Camps. Both courses are free. They walk you through the basics of HTML and CSS by building a web page. You progress by completing simple challenges that build up your knowledge. The system validates that your code works and that it meets the requirements. These courses are actually what I started my daughter on when she was bored one summer, and it showed her why coding can be fun. And now she's training to be a software engineer at a school called 42. The next stage is to put all this in practice, for example, by creating a static page to show your CV and to link to all your work. At this point, I'd recommend you learn a CSS framework. There are several good options, but I find Tailwind to be the most fun, so I'd use that. A good exercise is to go to Behance to search for CV and portfolio examples and to try to reproduce them. The next step along the path is to understand JavaScript. There is one website that I recommend here. It's called Exorcism. Even if you're already familiar with JavaScript and TypeScript, I suggest you try it. You learn by going through a series of exercises at your own pace. The exercises build on each other and they help you unlock concepts progressively. If you've gone through the challenges on Exorcism, you might like to try the JavaScript challenges on Codecrafters that help you dive deep into understanding advanced concepts by having you build your own versions of tools like Git and SQLite. The service isn't free, but some companies have an allowance for employee training, so that might make sense here. I've provided, again, a link in the description. The next step is to learn a front-end framework and a back-end framework to go with it. There are two choices here that are sufficiently mature, in my opinion. First, Angular as a front-end framework with NextJS as a back-end on the one hand, or second, React as a front-end framework with NextJS as a back-end. Which you choose depends on several things. I've provided a comparison of the philosophies of React and Angular if you're interested. If you don't know which to choose, I recommend React as it is the front runner. I recommend going through the React tic-tac-toe tutorial. It's designed for people who prefer to learn by doing and want to quickly try making something tangible, as the website says. And that certainly describes me. Once you've gone through the React tutorial, the next step is to create your own project, perhaps a calculator or a Pomodoro timer or a quiz. I've provided a list of suggestions in the description. Now, once you understand how React works, the next step is to learn Next.js. Vercel's comprehensive tutorial on nextjs.org/learn takes you through all the concepts that you need to know. It starts by explaining basic routing and data fetching. Then it moves on to advanced topics like cache invalidation and secure authentication and accessibility and SEO optimization. And because you're coding along the way, you're doing two things simultaneously. First, you're putting what you're learning into practice immediately. Second, you're building all that you need to set up your project. Once you've gone through the tutorial, you can start creating your own project. And this might be the perfect opportunity to build your own B2B micro SaaS, for example. Who knows? The sky is the limit. Now to recap, if I were learning today, I'd start with Git, HTML and CSS, and then I'd learn JavaScript and TypeScript. And then I moved on to React and NextJS. But remember, those are just the first steps on the journey. Practice is key here. Build and share your project's feedback, but above all, make sure to have fun along the way. For those who are undecided between React and Angular, check out my video here for an in-depth comparison to help you understand their philosophies and their strengths. And I think you'll also find this video here interesting in the journey. But whatever you choose, I'll see you in the next video.